Crucifixion, the most brutal, humiliating, and drawn-out form of execution in the ancient world. The Romans did not invent it, but they perfected it. Why did they use it? What was its purpose? And what made it so terrifying? Crucifixion dates back centuries before Rome, possibly to the Persians, who impaled rebels and criminals to warn others. The Carthaginians, Rome's great enemies, used it too. But when the Romans adopted it, they turned it into a weapon of an empire. For Rome, crucifixion wasn't just about punishment, it was psychological warfare. Roman citizens were almost never crucified, it was considered too disgraceful. Crucifixion was reserved for the worst offenders, slaves who defied their masters, rebels who threatened the Roman order, pirates and bandits, and especially the enemies of the state. That's why Jesus of Nazareth was crucified. To the Romans, he was just another rebel in a rebellious province. Crucifixion wasn't just about killing someone, it was about turning their death into a spectacle, a warning. Rome didn't just eliminate threats, it displayed them. When someone was crucified, it wasn't in private, it was in public. The condemned were forced to carry their own cross through the streets, humiliated, spat on, beaten. Their suffering was part of the punishment. The location mattered too. Crosses were often placed at crossroads, city gates, or on hills overlooking busy roads. Thousands might walk past a single crucified man, and they would get the message loud and clear. This is what happens when you defy Rome. Crucifixion strips you out of your dignity, identity, and even your name. You didn't just die, you were erased. Sometimes victims were crucified naked, sometimes they lingered for days. Birds pecked at their flesh, insects crawled over their wounds. Passerby mocked them, and this was a theater of pain. But the message wasn't just for the condemned, it was for everyone else. Stay in line, obey, never challenge the empire. As it is said in the Bible, John 19:37, they will look on the one they have pierced. Of all the thousands crucified by Rome, none would echo through history like one man, Jesus Christ of Nazareth. According to the Gospels, Jesus was sentenced to death by Pontius Pilate, not for theft or murder, but for claiming kingship. The charge nailed to his cross read, Jesus of Nazareth, King of the Jews. To Rome this was sedition, treason, and Rome knew how to deal with rebels. Jesus was crucified outside the city on a hill called Golgotha, the place of the skull. Like thousands before him, he hung in agony, naked, bleeding, mocked. But unlike the others, he was remembered. In Roman eyes, the cross was the most shameful death imaginable. But to early Christians, something shifted. They didn't hide from the horror, they embraced it. To them, the cross wasn't just a murder weapon, it became a symbol of sacrifice, of love, of redemption. May I never boast except in the cross of our Lord Jesus Christ, as it is said in the Galatians 6:14. The cross, once a Roman warning, became a Christian banner. It wasn't about Rome's cruelty, it was about God's mercy. And then history took a dramatic turn. In 312 AD, Emperor Constantine claimed to see a vision before battle, a cross in the sky with the words, "In this sign you will conquer." He won that battle and eventually legalized Christianity across the empire. The cross, once feared, now flew with the legions of Rome, from a symbol of death to one of the global faith. Today, the cross is one of the most recognized symbols in the world. It's worn by billions, prayed before, fought over, even feared. But its origins remain raw, brutal, and very human. Jesus was not the only man to die on a cross, but his death gave the cross a second life. One not of punishment, but of hope. A Roman tool of terror, transformed into the heart of a faith. What's remarkable is not that Jesus died on a Roman cross, but that this instrument of torture became the foundation of a faith that would outlive the very empire that created it. Rome crucified him to erase him, but it had the opposite effect. His followers did not scatter, they spread. They carried the message of the crucified Messiah to villages, cities, and entire nations. They preached that his brutal death was not defeat, but victory, that in the suffering there was salvation, that in the blood there was forgiveness, that this wasn't just the end of a man's life, but the beginning of a new life for all. In the beginning, they were hunted, fed to lions, burned alive, but they refused to give up the cross. They painted it in the catacombs, whispered it in prisons, died with it carved into their graves. And then the world changed, from underground churches to imperial halls, from village altars to global cities. The cross stood firm. Today, nearly a third of humanity follows the teachings of Jesus Christ. 2,000 years later, the cross is not a Roman warning. It is a global symbol of hope, mercy, and redemption. A tool of fear, a sign of shame, became the beating heart of the world's largest religion.